Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Aisha, aka Living Lesh, and I am here today to talk about cruises. So I'm here to give you cruise tips and specifically to talk about the Virgin Voyages cruises. You have probably seen so much about it, and I'm here to actually talk to you whether it's actually worth it to take one of these trips. I recently went on one at the beginning of the year, learned so much about it, and I want to share with you whether it's actually worth your time and money. So you've probably seen all about these cruises versus the commercials, the ads. I've seen billboards, and you've probably seen, like I said, the commercial that has been all over every channel. I mean, even after I've come back from the trip, I keep seeing the commercial, and my parents even go, "Oh, isn't that the cruise you went on?" So if you're thinking about it, you probably know what commercial I'm talking about. Yeah, that one. So I want to share with you, as you're probably seeing these commercials, you probably are seeing it all over social media. People are going on these cruises. You're hearing so much about it. You're hearing about its expansion, and you may be thinking, should I take this cruise and is it worth it? You've probably gone on the website, you're looking at it, and you're like, okay, well, what makes this cruise different from other cruises? So I want to tell you what makes it different, whether it's worth it, and whether it's for you. So as we talk through all the ways or all the things of whether it's worth it, we obviously have to start with a baseline. How much do these Virgin Voyages cruises cost? That's the question everyone always asks. I mean, we obviously work, we make money, we look at our bank accounts, and if you're anything like me, you love how you save or the money goes into your account, then somehow it gets spent, but even if you don't spend it, you like how it looks. So when there's a big price tag on things, you're sitting there thinking, is it really worth me looking at my bank account tomorrow and it being thousands of dollars less than what it used to be? So let's talk about pricing for Virgin Voyages. Virgin Voyages, these trips can range from anywhere as low as $1,200 per person to $10,000 per person. Now, the $10,000 is if you're going for high class suites, you're doing everything. The $1,200 is for the shorter trips, the less duration, and they're for the, I would say, basic rooms. And I say basic rooms because the rooms aren't as basic as you think. So at $1,200, here's what you can get. $1,200, you can go on a 4-night cruise. And it could take you into some of the more Caribbean, kind of the local ones. So it's the ones where you leave from the U.S. and it takes you around to, a couple of ports and then it comes back. It's not as long. Now, in that, you could probably go to a suite that is, they're not even suites. I'm going to call them suites, but they're all suites. They're not really suites. You'll get a sea terrace for $1,200 for 4 nights. In the sea terrace, you get a room that is, it's pretty comfortable. We stayed in a sea terrace on our cruise, and it wasn't small, but it wasn't big. And I say that because it was enough room for 2 of us to function, but it's not big enough where all of us can just, both of us could just be running around. We can stand in one place together next to each other comfortably, but it's not like a place where you would invite all of your friends over if you're all on the cruise and go, oh, let's hang out in the room. Now, I will say that during the last cruise we were on, when we went with Virgin Voyages, we were able to fit 6 people in one room because we were doing this little photo shoot. It was super cute, pajamas, but we were all in this room and we weren't uncomfortable. Now, we probably wouldn't have hung out in there for that long, but we weren't uncomfortable. And I will say, when we did this cruise, it was a couples cruise, and the guys also hung out in the room. So there was about 5 of them in one room taking drinks, and they were fine in there. But of course, guys are a lot more comfortable being close quarters and moving around versus like women. Sometimes we sort of go out and explore. But I digress. So on these 4-night cruises, if you go on a 4-night one, again, that's one of the least expensive ones, you could go into a Mega Rockstar Suite. Now, the Mega Rockstar Suite will be the suite that has a living room, it has room, it's massive. I didn't go in one. I saw them online. I've seen them in social media, so you can go check them out, but they are massive. They include a whole lot. And on a 4-night cruise, you're probably close to spending $6,000 to $8,000 on those. Now, where it goes up to about $10,000 if you're going on one of the longer cruises. So you're going on one of those 8-night cruises, $10,000 if you're going into the Mega Rockstar Suite on the 8-night cruise, and that's what you're spending per person, remember, per person, on the cruise for them. So if there's 2 of you, you're spending like $20K for a Mega Rockstar suite on an 8-night cruise. Now for 8-night cruises in a sea terrace, you're probably looking at around $2,500 per person. So it's not too bad for a longer cruise. Now you're probably also thinking, what's all included? So I gave you kind of a brief overview of what the rooms look like for a sea terrace to then like a Mega Rockstar. But when you're thinking about what else you're getting for that price, there is a whole lot to get into. Now, before we get into all the other things that come with the price, you know, food, beverages, amenities, things on the ship, let's first kind of rewind and talk about some of the other things when it talks about locations, durations, and, you know, payments. So going back to pricing, I just shared you can probably spend anywhere from $1,200 per person to $10,000 per person. Now, you're not paying all that at once. You can. That's a huge benefit. You just kind of spend it all at once and it's gone. Bye-bye. Let the money float away. It's gone. Or what Virgin Voyages does offer is they do offer payment plans. So you can set it onto auto payment. You can set it into, you know, pay none now, pay later. You know, you just wait till you're about to head out on the cruise and you pay for it then. Or there is these other options where there's actually 0 interest APR. But of course, there's all those contingencies in there, so make sure you read the fine print. I'm someone that likes to just, here's my money now, I'm gonna act like it wasn't there, because then of course you're sitting there thinking, oh, I have all this money left, and you spend it, and the next thing you know, a payment comes up and you're like, oh shoot. But if that's something for you where you like to do payment plans, those are offered. Which is great, because if you're looking to do some of those high-end suites, but you only have like half now to pay for maybe like a Rockstar room, so it's not the Mega Rockstar 10K room, but you maybe just went a little bit down and got the Rockstar room, or you're doing a Central Sea Terrace, or, you know, one of the other suites, you can pay it in installments. Again, there's 0 interest APR, and it just looks like from all the details that I was seeing about those payment plans is it just needs to be paid prior to you sailing. So if you are looking at a cruise that's later in the year, or maybe you're planning a year ahead, those may be good options for you to book it now, secure your spot, because they can fill up for then you to pay over time, so that you're not just handing out a huge lump sum at once, unless that's something you're wanting to do. So that's it about payments, pricing, all of those. So let's go into some of the locations and the durations of the trip. So Virgin Voyages is expanding its locations. I keep seeing like over and over again. So when we went on the cruise, this was about a couple months ago, earlier in the year, we realized or heard that they were expanding to Greece. It wasn't available when we went. We went on a Caribbean cruise. There were other locations available, but they were expanding to Greece. There are so many locations that the Virgin Voyages can go to. You can go to transatlantic, you can go to the Caribbean, you can go to Europe, so many options. You can end up in Mexico, Greece, Spain, Portugal, so many places that you can go to. South America, Central America, Mexico. You can go stay close to the US, you can go over to Europe. It all depends on where you want to go and what you want to do and how long you want it to be. Most of the trips that are in Europe or around the Mediterranean, or, you know, those ones that are not coming from the US or not starting from the US are usually the longer ones. Those are the ones that are about the 6, 7 to 8 nights. Now you also have to consider that depending on where you live, if you are going on any of these cruises, you also have to fly there. So tie that into your pricing as well. You have to get to the dock. I live in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia area. From Philadelphia to Miami for a Caribbean cruise, we spent around $150 to $200 per person to get there. Now, we planned a lot of time ahead of time, so we were able to get the flights really cheap on a comfortable flight. But of course, if you wait till it gets closer, the flights get more expensive. So if you're going to a European trip, factor that in as well, that you also have to pay for flights. Obviously, flights are not included in cruise packages. I don't think I've known any cruise that includes those. If there are some, let me know, because I have actually never heard that, but I feel like that is something cruises need to start offering, like flight plans that they can include in the pricing, and then they'll just help you and they'll book it for you. But whatever. That's what travel agents are for, I guess, or whatever. You just figure it out yourself. So there are those. There's the durations, the locations. You can go all of those places. And what I really like about you know, going to all these locations, and the cruise itself is the ship. So when we were sailing, what I realized at each of the docks, because of course when you're going on these cruises, you're docking at different places around different cities to have different excursions. And when you get to those docks, those ports, there are probably other cruise ships there. What I realized from being at the ports is Virgin Voyages cruise ship is smaller than the rest. Well, not the rest, other ones that I saw. Now you may think, well, why would I want to go on a smaller cruise ship? That means there's not a lot to offer. On the contrary, larger cruise ships mean there are more rooms, which means there are more people. It doesn't mean that the restaurants are larger. It doesn't mean that the pools are a whole lot bigger. It just means that there's more people. So what I really liked about this cruise is that, one, it is adults only, and that is coming from a person who has a 3-year-old child right now. If you're watching this later, he's probably older, but I do have a child. So though it was hard to leave him going on a cruise ship without him, sometimes mommy and daddy need mommy and daddy time. It just happens. You know, we want to get close, we want to snuggle, we want to, you know, just have mommy and daddy time and go and explore the world. And then we'll go on trips with the family later.
I'm really that hot, bitch. Damn hot.
It is adults only, 18 up. And it is a cruise ship that fits, I think they were saying, a maximum of 20,000 people. Now that does sound like a lot, but in comparison to other ships that fit 30, 40, 50, 60,000 people and up, 20,000 isn't that much in comparison. Now, I'm not really sure. I'm going to tell you this right now. I think they said 20,000. My memory resets every week. So this was months ago that they told me this. If it's less than 20,000, I could be making it up. But to put it in retrospect or in perspective, it's a lot less than other cruises. Meaning there's less people, which means you're not having a hard time getting into restaurants. When you go to the different activities or places, there's places to sit. You're not fighting people. You're not in large crowds. You're not fighting for, you know, the benches or the loungers at the pool. You're not going to the bar and not be able to get a drink. Like when you go to those cruises that are really huge, and I've been on one, it's very hard to maneuver, and you find yourself going, okay, oh shoot, I forgot to make a reservation at this place. Let me just go to see if I can walk in. And they're like, no, go somewhere else. We've run into that on other cruises. We did not run into that on Virgin Voyages. So now while you're on board, you probably want to know what is there to offer. So let's first start with the food and beverages. The easiest place to start is with the beverages and what's included. So we talked about all the pricing. Let's talk about what's included in that price. So other than your room, which we've talked about, that your pricing is based off your room, everyone gets a food coverage. What doesn't come in the package is beverages. Virgin Voyages doesn't offer a included beverage option. And I mean by beverage options, I mean like alcoholic drinks. You can get water, you can get juices, you can get soda. That comes in the packages. So like when you go to some of the restaurants, if you ask for a soda, it just comes along. If you ask for an alcoholic drink, that is something they charge you for on board. And we'll go into how you're able to be charged for that, how they work that out. But what you can do prior to getting on boarding is buy a drink package. So on some sailings, they'll actually say you can buy a bar tab, which means they'll allow you to load up your account with a certain amount of money. I think sometimes it goes from 200 to 300. And if you buy it ahead of the sailing, you could actually get a certain amount of money free. So for example, when we were going on our cruise, they were offering a special of you can pre-purchase a $300 bar tab and we'll give you $100 extra without any cost for free. So now you're getting a $400 bar tab. With that, you have to make sure that you are ordering that bar package at least, I think it's like 24 to 40 hours ahead of time. The offer expires the day before, and you can't click on it. It'll still show you on the app or on the website or wherever you're checking in for your information, but it won't let you click on it. I highly recommend getting one of those bar tabs. The reason why I say that is for our cruise, we did a 6-night cruise. It was me and my husband on our bar tab because of course we were combined people. We spent probably over $800 on this was excursions and beverages. Beverages alone, we spent probably over $300–400 on that because you're thinking about for 6 nights, it's you know, beverages throughout the day. Maybe you get like a mimosa, you get a couple drinks at dinner, you get a drink at lunch, you know, you go out to the club or the bar area at night, you have nightlife, you're buying these drinks and they start to add up. So I highly recommend getting a bar package ahead of time just so you can take advantage of it, and it's one less thing where you get like a lesser bill at the end. That extra $100 on your bar tab either is money you're going to spend out of your pocket or money Virgin Voyages is going to give you. So why not take the free money? You're going to spend it anywhere, anyway. It won't go to waste. I'm just going to tell you that. You may think, well, I don't want to buy the bar package because what if I don't spend $100 in beverages? You will. Food, on the other hand, is included in your price. So if you go to any of the restaurants, you go to the galley, which is kind of like an open area of like, it's kind of like a cafeteria, I would say, in a way. That food's included. You're not going around and paying for food. Gratuities also included. So you don't have to worry about bringing cash and tipping. That's also included in the price. There are 20 places or 20 options to eat. So I would say 20 restaurants to a certain place, but 20 options of places to eat on board. These 20 options range from anywhere from the sit-down restaurants to going to a little like walk-up kind of bar where you can get bites, to like a little stand where you can get ice cream, to a little spot where you can go and get pizza. There are so many great places. We loved all the options. The one thing I really enjoyed about being on Virgin Voyages is that no matter what time you're hungry, there's food available. So if you are out, maybe you go to the Manor, which is their like club on board, and it's now 1 a.m. and you're really hungry, there is a pizza place where you can go get pizza. There is a bar where you can go get bites. So there's food always available. Even if you get up early in the morning, there's food in the galley, there's coffee, which is included in the price as well, unless you get the specialty coffee at one of the places. But all of that's included. So amenities and activities. So things to do on board. Of course, as you're on a cruise, there's going to be port days. You're going to get off the boat if you want to, which I highly recommend, because one great thing about going on a cruise is that you're able to get off, visit places, then go back on, and then visit another place the next day. So while you're on board, though, you're probably thinking about, what should I do? There's going to be sailing days where there's no ports. There's going to be times where you get back on the boat at like 5, 6 p.m. and you're going to need something to do. So other than eating and drinking, what else is there? There are so many activities on board that you're just never bored. Bored? You're never bored on board, isn't it? Bored on board. I think I have to coin that one. You're never bored on board. Virgin Voyages, take that one. But anyway, so if you're on board on the ship, there are so many things to do. So one place is there is a casino. The casino is right next to their club, which is called the Manor. The Manor is not open all day, but the casino is. So there's a casino on board. There is shows on board. So there's a place called the Red Room where they actually have shows. The best show that I saw that I love there, and I think they do it on any cruise, and it's the one main show they do, is called Dual Reality, and it's actually it's like based on Romeo and Juliet. It's super amazing. It has all the acrobats who are amazing. You have to go see it. I'll show you like a little clip here of, they're flipping around, they're twirling, they're hula hooping. It's amazing. You have to go see it. That's in the Red Room. So like I said, the Red Room where it has shows, they have the Manor, like I just said, which is their club. So that at late night, you can either go in, and it's different every night, which I think is amazing because of the fact that they're feeding to different types of groups on board. So at one night they had like a 90s night. One night they had a drag show with the diva. Then they went party. One night they had this like super, I guess you wouldn't say 21st century, that's what the music was. They have DJs, they have after hours parties. There's 2 bars there. There's an upper deck, a lower deck, like a main dance floor. So it's super fun. We were in there literally every night having so much fun dancing under the disco ball. They have multiple bars that are open late night. They have a game room. So there's a bar and they have game areas where you actually can go play. It's like an arcade / game room where they have like, you could play even like board games. They have the one where it's like the sock'em boppers thing. I think that's the thing that used to blow up. But the ones where you play and you hit it and you hit people, you know what I'm talking about. But they have so many things on board that you can do that. You can literally just go back in the back to the docks and lounge and just lay back in the sun and sunbathe. And of course, there's the pools. So there are 2 pools on board. There's a small circular pool and then there's a large pool. If you're interested in getting in the pool, I will say they're both not huge. They are not huge, but they are enough space for you to sit. There are plenty of loungers in the area, and you can get in and just dip. We had fun just sitting on the edge. I don't think we ever had a time where we felt like we were overcrowded in the pool. And of course, in addition to the pools, they have hot tubs around the circular pool. On either side of the pool, there's bars. And then if you are rock star status, they do have a separate bar area called Richard's Roof Deck that allows you to go up. They have a champagne happy hour every day from, I think it's like 5 to 6. Don't quote me on that, but I know it's every day. You can go get a champagne happy hour. And they have 2 hot tubs on Richard's Roof Deck that is specific to rock stars. It's just some, and then of course, in addition to all these other places you can go, if you have the app, which you pretty much have to have the Virgin Voyages app to be on the ship, they have activities going around all day. So some of the activities cost money. The majority of them are free. So shows are typically free. They do just ask you to book a ticket ahead of time so they can kind of estimate who's going to be there, because of course there's only a certain amount of seats. So once those reservations run out, they usually only save them for those who have reserved. So I highly recommend doing that. And do note that for certain activities where you are reserving things, even if it's free, if you reserve it and don't show up, they may charge you a fee for not showing up. Other things they did, they had a bar crawl, which we love. That one was something you did have to pay for though. So some of the activities you do have to pay for. So a trivia and whiskey tasting were 2 things that we took part in. And what they did with the whiskey tasting, which I thought was really neat, was you pay about $25 and that buys your ticket to go to the whiskey tasting. You taste the whiskey, but that $25 per person actually can be used as credit to purchase one of the whiskeys to take home for yourself. So you can use that credit to actually buy anything you're interested in after the tasting. So amenities on the boat are in plethora. Of course, you have room service. So if you are someone like me, and I took advantage of it, that gets up in the morning and doesn't fully feel like putting clothes on to go to the galley. Granted, I will say, and other people did this, I showed up in my pajamas in a sweatshirt with my hair still up. I think even one day I still had my bonnet on and I walked into the galley to get breakfast and no one turned their head. Like I saw plenty of people in there with their pajamas on too. It was just super early. But if you're just like, I'm not coming out of the room service. They do offer the ability to get your food for breakfast dropped off to your room. The only thing you have to know about that is you have to reserve it ahead of time. One thing I did realize when ordering it on the app, that there is a $5 delivery fee. But a way to avoid that delivery fee is to pay for a specialty drink. So here's a little trick that I learned. There was a drink on there. It was like a specialty tea that was $3. So I got the specialty tea for $3, which waived the $5 delivery fee. So I saved $2. Now, if you don't want the specialty tea, you're just like, I'm going to pay the $5, have at it. But if there's a drink on there that's like a specialty drink, whether it's tea or coffee, and it's under the $5, get it, because you're going to save a little money that can be applied towards a drink or excursion or whatever later. So that's something that you can do. You can order breakfast. You have to reserve a time and you have to reserve it ahead of time. So if you're going to do that, if you know you're going to do it the next morning, make sure the night before you just get on the app, you order it, you set what time you like it delivered, and they'll bring it to your room and they'll pick it up right after by just putting the little carrying case outside. Of course, all the other amenities, they have the aspects of, like I said, room service. They come and they clean your room when you want to. You could either put on a do not disturb just by a button, or you can call for them to clean up your room by, clicking another button. You ask for more towels. There's plenty of people to help you. And then if you are rock star status, you have additional amenities. So if you're rock star status, one amenity that you have right from getting on the boat. So when you get to Terminal V, they call it Terminal V, to get on for Virgin Voyages. When you get there, you actually have a separate area where you enter, because Virgin Voyages guests who are rock stars can actually enter earlier. So they can board earlier. You actually go through a little section. They take you up. There's like a little lounge area where you can wait inside, where you can get comfortable. And then once they let you on the boat and you check in, you actually go to the manor where you're able to check in. You're getting a welcome champagne beverage. And then you get the concierge that comes around to help you with any shore excursions you want to book, any reservations for food that you may want to book or fix. If you're not rock star status, that doesn't mean you can't do it. What you have to do is, if you need help with any reservations or anything, if you go to the main deck, so you'll find that out when you enter, there's usually a table. It's a red table right on that deck around the staircase, and they're available throughout different times. It's on the board of when they're available, and you'll have a restaurant manager there as well as a shore excursion individual. And of course, you can also contact Sailor Services, which is people who help through the app. So if you're someone who loves to get off the boat and actually go and do tours and explore like me, you're looking at shore excursions. On Virgin Voyages, they're called shore things. And you can book these shore things through the app. I think that's the only way to actually book them. No, that's not the only way to actually book them. The best way to book them is through the app, and then you can also book them with Sailor Services or, with the concierge. Or if you really want to do something crazy, you can actually book some of these tours outside of Virgin Voyages, but I don't recommend doing that, because if you have an issue, it's hard to communicate with them, because if you're at sea, there's really no connection unless they do WhatsApp, which is still, sometimes you get Wi-Fi that's spotty. Another amenity I didn't mention, they do have free Wi-Fi. Little things to mention, but I recommend booking your shore excursions, the shore things, through Virgin Voyages. So on many of my trips, any place I go, whether it's a cruise, a different country, I go on an international trip, I go to a different state, the one thing I am always concerned about is whether I'm going to be comfortable. I'm going to say this as a person who is, as an African-American, a black woman who travels. I have been to places where I'm not comfortable. I've been on a couple of cruises previously, and I will say, I'm not going to put that out there because I don't talk ill about that cruise, because I don't think it was the cruise line's issue. It was just who was on the cruise. I will say I have been on a cruise where I felt so uncomfortable and so unwelcomed that I really considered, when we got to port, of trying to get to the airport to just fly home, because I didn't want to get back on the boat. Got back on the boat, ended it, but I was so glad I was off. That is not the case with Virgin Voyages. Virgin Voyages made me feel so welcome, at home, and accepted in all aspects. When you get on the cruise, I will say it is very... Obviously, we know it's geared for 18 above. It's an adults only cruise, but you're finding a lot more older Gen Zs. If anything, you're finding a lot of millennials, and you're finding some boomers who are on there who are still living their young lives. So they're very attached to millennials and living like that. And then you kind of find some other of the generations dispersed in between. And on that, you're finding a diverse amount of people. And I won't even just say diverse in race and ethnicity. They're diverse in nationality as well. So you're not just finding Americans on these cruises. You're not just going to Europe and find Europeans. We left from Miami, and there were Europeans who flew from Europe to Miami to get on the cruise. When people who are leaving from Europe, because I do have friends who went on Virgin Voyages and took some of the European ones, they're having Americans flying there, Europeans flying there, people from different countries. You're having people from South America. Like, everyone's on there. There are different people, different languages spoken on board, and it makes you feel like it's a very inclusive cruise. And then in connection to just people of different skin colors, nationalities, ethnicities, you're also finding a great amount of LGBTQA plus individuals who are just fun and vibrant and make you feel, and there was never a moment where you felt like someone was insulting someone else, or someone didn't like that person because of who they are. And it's not even just the guests, it's the staff, the sailor services, everyone there's so much diversity on board that it was such an inclusive and home feel. I had so much fun because of that diversity. It was just made everyone feel welcome. And as like the group that I travel with a group called the Babes That Wonder, which is a group about, diverse travel. For that to be a cruise we went on embodied everything that we try to promote. So moving past the sentimental moment, some things to know before you go. So we kept talking about these wristbands earlier. So when you are checking in at Terminal V, whichever terminal you're getting on to board the cruise, you will get a wristband. Red wristbands are for anyone who's not rock star. I don't want to say the regular people. Everyone's regular. The non-rock star people get a red wristband. Black is rock star status. You'll get those. That'll be the one wristband you need to keep on you. It is your room key. It is basically your credit card. It's how you pay for your drinks. It's how you pay for any activities. It's how you check in. Even with that is, you may go to an activity, they don't tap it every time, but if you're in the general vicinity of something, they'll actually check you in just from your wristband. So when you, on your first day, when you get on, they do have these security gatherings. They give you a security debrief. When you come into the area of where you're supposed to meet, your band actually alerts the people on the tablet that you're in the area, and they'll check you in. So you'll need that band. You need that band to get off the boat on port days. You need that band to check in for your shore things. You need that band to get back on the boat. You need that band basically for everything. So you have to keep that band on, make sure you get it. They used to send it ahead of time, from what I heard, that you would get it in the mail. They now just give it to you right at check-in, because I'm sure, like many people, is you get it in the mail, you pack all your stuff up, you get to the port, and then you go, oh shoot, I forgot my wristband. So you get it right there. Some other things to know before you go is come to have fun. You got to come to have fun, have a great time, get ready to party, leave all your worries behind. I think I should have said that first, but that's one of the biggest ones. Other thing is they do have a night called Scarlet Night. So as you know, Virgin Voyages is this big red, everything's red. Red, 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 red. So one of the things they do have is called Scarlet Night. It's a big party where you're supposed to, you don't have to. You wear red. Everyone wears red. It's a big red party. So pack your red outfit. Pack your red outfit. It doesn't have to be super fancy. Virgin Voyages is a very casual ship, but you can kind of wear anything. It goes back to the diversity. If you're someone who loves to dress up and be fancy, do that. If you're someone who just casual, do that. Anything you do. The only thing you can't do is probably walk around in the nude. I don't think that's a thing you can do on this ship. So anything else, go for it. But those are basically all things, like things you should know before you go and whether it's worth it. So overall, if you're asking me, I think it's very well worth it to go on this cruise. Virgin Voyages is probably, out of the 4 cruise lines I've been on, not including Virgin Voyages, so 5 total, Virgin Voyages is right now my number 1, which is why we're planning on taking another cruise with them. So it is very much worth it. It's one of those cruises that you'll go on and you'll be thinking about taking the next cruise with them a month later, or even planning for the next one. People are constantly going on these cruises over and over again. It is amazing. Anything that you see on the commercials on social media is exactly what you're going to get. There is no lying in between. There is nothing that they're hiding. It is amazing. There are surprises around every corner. And if you want to find out more about the cruise that we took, the Virgin Voyages Caribbean Craze Cruise, in the description I have the link directly to the cruise so you can see fully what's on board, fully what we did, get insight into the restaurant, some of the activities, some more of the amenities. I even share, and you can find again in the description, links to the different ports. So if you're thinking about going on the Caribbean Craze, you can see about how we spend time at the different ports. And then, of course, also linked below is a full blog post on our experience. You can get a lot more nitty-gritty details on how to book it, what to know before you go, how to pack for the cruise, everything you need to know. So I'm hoping this gave you a little bit more insight into the Virgin Voyages cruise, and use the link below to book yours. I know you want to do it now. Go and book the next one. And if you have taken a cruise, I would love to hear what your experience was below. I love to hear different experiences. And again, like I said, I hope this was helpful. Make sure, Living Less, you hit that subscribe button. Check me out on Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, Facebook. Check out my blog. Subscribe to my newsletter. I'm constantly sharing great things. And thank you for watching this video, and catch you next time.